Here we are a couple weeks away from CFPBs T.R.I.D implementation, and it's the most sweeping change we've seen in lending in probably forever. The question is it actually going to raise the cost to every single buyer now moving forward? I believe that answer is yes, so stick around, I'll tell you exactly why. All right, the changes that we're going to see on October 3rd are essentially the most sweeping lending changes we've seen in probably forever. Anytime there's changes, there's going to be costs associated with implementing these changes. We're talking software, hardware, people, training, lawyers, all sorts of fun things that the banks are now implementing as we speak to try to be up and ready for TRID starting on October 3rd. Now, do you think that the banks are going to pass these fees along to the borrowers in some manner, shape, or form? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. If I was a betting man, though, I would bet that they're not just going to absorb these fees on their balance sheet and just make less money. All right, the simple fact of the matter is that banks are for profit, but I want to shift the attention away from banks right now, for obvious reasons, and put it squarely onto the back of the appraisal management company. Thanks to other regulations that have been implemented over the last decade or so, a buyer can have absolutely nothing to do with choosing the appraiser on their file, and therefore that is a choice of the lender and falls into the new zero tolerance fees box for the TRID implementation. What this means is once a lender discloses the appraisal fee, they cannot change it. Moving forward with the guidelines, a lender is going to have to identify what the appraisal cost is going to be almost immediately after getting that purchase contract. So they're not going to know if there's going to be a trip charge or if there's going to be a rush fee charge or any of these other things. And so ultimately they're going to set the fee and they're not going to be able to change it. All right, so do we expect the appraisal management company to just eat the fees that they otherwise would have been charging for these changes? I just don't think that's going to happen. So what we are going to see is likely an increase in appraisals across the board for their base fees, because now they're not going to be able to charge all these individual charges on those unique cases. They're going to have to raise the base fee to accommodate for the charges that they're no longer going to be able to cover moving forward. Now that's interesting because the intention of CFPBs T.R.I.D is to make a better lending experience for the buyer, hopefully a less expensive lending experience. But with this change, what they're ultimately going to do is they're going to force the overwhelming majority of buyers to pay a higher appraisal fee just so that that select minority doesn't have to pay a changed appraisal fee. I wouldn't exactly put that in the win column for the CFPB. Now, this is just one example on how these new changes are going to make it a little bit more expensive for buyers to get loans moving forward. Clearly, this isn't going to be the end of the world, and especially with appraisals, since we only anticipate the change being a few dollars on each appraisal, something that most buyers are not even going to notice, but we're going to see it because we are in the industry. So I'll remind you, like everybody else probably is, make sure you get in your TRID training before October 3rd. You want to know exactly what's going on so that you're prepared for it, and more importantly, so that you can set up expectations with your clients correctly and you look like you're in the know. If you're enjoying the video, please make sure that you click on the like button. If you can think of anybody that could benefit from this information, please share the video with them. And if you'd like to make sure that you get all of our video updates, click on the subscribe button and you'll get everything every single week. Appreciate you watching. Talk to you soon. Thanks.